power of the Ten Rings has been unleashed. With the Earth under attack from Shang-Chi's grandfather and the forces of Tao Law, will Shang-Chi be able to save all that he loves, or will the Ten Rings consume him? Shang-Chi, issue number 12, sees the conclusion to his family-depicted war between Shang-Chi and his vengeful grandfather, Chieftain Shin. What's great about this issue is the fact that it's action-packed, but while it's filled with action, the story and the pacing go hand in hand, making the issue and the outcome much more intriguing. Gene Luen Yang's writing ensures to make the reader never bored, nor allowing the "oh, this is just whatever" feeling to take hold. I also enjoyed how Shang didn't turn evil, ever since it was teased way back when in the original 2020 Shang-Chi mini, via Takashi's dream. I love the theme of Shang-Chi being afraid of his father and that of his legacy, and I think it's why fans find the character so intriguing. Shang-Chi he's us. He's every person whose father and mother doesn't view with respect. And so I love that instead of falling prey to the temptations of power, Shang is able to snap out of it and basically overcome the Ten Rings with the help of Sister Hammer, which was fantastic. Just pure awesome storytelling. When it comes to the artwork, Marcus Tao delivers the same catchy appeal from the previous issues. Sure, would I think Dyke Ron be a better choice to finish this series up? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Marcus Tao does give us some delicious panels featuring badassery. And the way in which the rings are utilized and showcased, it's almost like they're alive in some weird way, which of course was awesome, and it kept the mystery surrounding the rings even more fascinating. Overall, Shang-Chi issue number 12 was an exhilarating ride that was able to mix the drama, the internal conflict, and the tension in an overly action-packed plot, while still being able to provide readers with a great ending. And because of that, I cannot wait for the creative team to return in July with Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi issue number 12 gets a 9.5 out of 10. Our story begins in Chinatown, New York, with the Five Weapon Society warriors clashing against the Quinn Riders. And while both Master Ling and Jing Li defend the stronghold, Master Ling begs the question, where the hell is Shang-Chi? And that's when we switch over to the realm of Tao Law, with our hero, the master of Kung Fu himself, Shang-Chi, wielding the Ten Rings, preparing to confront his grandfather in order to save his family. And via the use of his mind, Shang-Chi mentally commands the rings to obey his every wish, just like in the film. Thus we witness four of the rings saving his siblings just in the nick of time. And that's when Shang's magical jacked up grandfather rushes towards him, with the intent of disemboweling his grandson. Now although he's making some moves and is using the rings to combat his grandfather, at the same time, Shang's thoughts start getting corrupted, to the point where Shang-Chi is thinking about tearing his grandfather's skin off, which is pretty sadistic, and definitely something Shang wouldn't think of doing. Because, I mean, let's face it, Shang-Chi is no Ramsay Bolton, but you know who is? Zhang Zu, Shang's dad. And while the ghost of his father begins to haunt Shang-Chi, Chieftain Jin uses the opportunity to steal the 10 rings, and by taking 6 of them, Chieftain Shin makes his escape as he busts through the palace walls and begins to head over to Earth so that he can destroy everything related to Shang's father. Now while Shang was able to save his brother and sisters from getting crushed from all the rubble, the group immediately gets surrounded by the Jade Emperor and his warriors. I think it's fair to say that the Emperor is not all too happy with the current situation. And to quote Stefan Diggs from March 2022, "Da hell going on?" Such a great tweet. Now after seeing that the rest of his family have started to bow before the Jade Emperor, Shang-Chi sort of feels bad, and so he tries to explain the situation to the Emperor. Like, hey, sorry about what's going on. My grandfather's kind of a dick, and I'm the son of Jing Li, of the Quinn Riders. And so upon hearing the words of Shang, the Emperor gives the young hero an ultimatum. Either you help out and stop your grandfather from destroying things, or I kill you now. Whether or not if you're successful will determine my sentencing. So yeah, basically don't fuck it up, or I'll kill you. And seeing that the group are in need of some royal steeds, the Emperor hooks them up with some of the faster horses from the Imperial stables. Meanwhile on Earth, Chieftain Shin has arrived at the battle and has begun to fight his daughter, Rider vs. Rider. And since he has 6 of the rings, he's using them to his fullest advantage. And Jing Li, she doesn't stand a chance. But luckily reinforcements show up, aka Shang-Chi and his family. And it's here where they engage the enemy, as they punch and kick bad guys in the face. Thus we get round 2 at Shang-Chi against his grandfather. However, despite the fact that he's a master of Kung Fu, Shang is getting defeated, and so as a result, Shin takes full control of all 10 rings. But while soaking in defeat, the words of Zhang Zhu begin to echo in his son's mind, telling Shang to give in to the power. Break free, child, and become one with the 10 rings. Use your God-given power and destroy your grandfather. Basically, join me, and together we shall rule the galaxy as father and son. Thus, Shang gives in to his father's temptations, and he lets himself be consumed with power. Therefore, we watch as Shang-Chi undergoes a transformation into the legacy of his father, the living embodiment of Zhang Zhu. And with that, he's able to harness the 10 rings once more, snatching the weapons away from Jin, and Shang-Chi just starts slapping dudes in the face. Ring after ring is being thrown, knocking down the forces of his grandfather. And whilst this is all going down, this is where Takashi, Brother Saber, sees the vision that he had way back in the day come to life. The vision of an evil version of Shang-Chi wielding untold amounts of vast power. Now it's here where Shang-Chi uses the 10 rings to subdue his grandfather, enabling to further attack his family. But he does it in a pretty terrible way. Like, nothing about this looks right. He even begins to use the rings to basically get revenge from the loss of Sister Hammer's hand. A hand for a hand, essentially. But before he can use the rings to snap off his grandfather's hand, Sister Hammer, of all friggin' people, begs Shang to stop. Because bro, if you cross that line, not only will you lose yourself, like an Eminem song, but you'll turn out to be just like Grandpa. And worse, you might even become just like our father. And so it's here, upon seeing the error of his ways, Shang abandons the power. He throws away the legacy of his father, because for Shang-Chi, he chooses compassion. He chooses family. A month later, we get ourselves an epilogue, and where we get some closure. For New York City has been saved from what the news is calling an interdimensional invasion, and that the invasion was stopped by a now not-so-secret organization, the Five Weapon Society. So basically, the group have now gone public. Therefore, the world can see and learn about this once evil organization that isn't evil anymore. It's trying to change for the better. And it's not just the public who gets to see this, but the superhero community as well. Now, at the same time, we learn that Shang-Chi is currently alone, because after defeating Shin, his mom took her father back to Tao La to answer for his crimes. But in doing so, his mom was given a promotion to become the new leader of the Quinn Riders. But this meant that she had to stay behind in order to do so. Takashi chose to serve out the remainder of his sentence at the vault, figuring that it was the more honorable thing to do, while both Sister Staff and Sister Dagger returned to their respective houses. However, Shang being alone, he's been able to contemplate the responsibilities that come with being the Supreme Commander, along with the dangers. And once Shang-Chi makes it to the other end of his hallway, that's when he encounters the 10 rings, almost like they're waiting, patiently, just to be used. And that, folks, was the end of Shang-Chi issue number 12. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. And as always, I'm your majestic sayer over at SuperCliff. And if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button. And also hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for Shang-Chi and the 10 Ring series starting in July? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace.